All right, and we're recording. So with that, I'll hand off to Erika. And thanks again, you all, for your patience. And it's so amazing to see you all here getting excited about gardening.
Thank you, everyone. It's an honor to be here tonight with you and Irene together and also learn from each other. How many of you have it's the first time doing seed starting? Can you raise your hand?
Caitlin and Erica, I hate to interrupt, but you're muted. On the Zoom, it looks like you're muted.
Okay. Apologies, online audience.
So this is the place where I've been learning a lot. I know some plants. I'm from Mexico, so I know corn, beans, squash, tomatoes, peppers, and other perennial plants like mangoes, limes, fruits. But I've been learning a lot about other foods like kale, cabbage, and native medicines and plants from here. Also, learning the 3-month season that we have here in Pandalak. We can have frost the first week of June, or we can have frost the first frost having the first week of September. That happened before. So a lot to learn with this weather. And then I'm going to play to get everybody excited. Video here. This thing will work. This video is from 2020. Oh, it's okay. I think you saw. So this is from 2020 at the garden demonstration community garden. There is some kale in a small raised bed. The shed where we storage our little tools. All the tools that we have in the demonstration garden are electric, so we can recharge that. And the red building that use 85% of the solar power in the daytime. That plot is some pollinators, perennial and annuals, in some containers. We also have some herbs, potatoes, because it's just a demonstration, so we do it in a raised bed, just the easy way that people can grow at home too, and we don't have to be doing a lot of work when we harvest the potatoes. There's some blueberries that be mulched with wood chips that we got from research management from 40th Street and rice balls also. This plot is kind of like a Milpa style. We have corn, amaranth, beans, tomatoes, and then we have another little plot with asparagus, brassicas, and then we have the fire with peppers. We've been very successful with the peppers in the last 4 years, and mainly we use to do seed starting. Sometimes we also do some seed saving there, but it's hard because it's really humid and cold in September. So we also have some cucumbers in California. The heat really helps with the peppers. This is just some ideas of what you do. I highly recommend raised bed because it's easy to get aligned. You protect your plants a little bit from rabbits. It's easy, it's just easy in the back of widening just for everything. There is some cauliflower, broccoli, cabbage, working onions, and asparagus. This video was like in July and August, so was there is basil there, basil grass, a little bit sage. Earlier we have a little bit of cinnamon. And then we use a lot of fresh chaff of sunlight for mulching. We also have drip hoses for irrigation. That helps with this with ground conservation and insect farming also. This is some pollinators, perennial or some animals, and this is the garden for the butterflies and bees. The Milpa and Gitigaan. We need the pollinators and the garden, so everything else will grow well. And also, it's the name of the garden. Imagine when you need helping each other, helping each other. So what we do here, we help the pollinators because the pollinators help us to grow all this food. Here we have kibble bed. In the city area, for anyone who visits there, or when we have the summer school programs. Okay, I'm going to start. We can do a little bit planning for the garden, a small garden, like a lot of people have a small garden, 20 by 30 feet. So we can do that. Many of you have a bigger plot at the farm or a different place or just containers or just raised beds. First thing we want to learn is about seed saving. It's very important to know that we need to do seed saving and we need to plant that when we're planting our garden. So it's good to have open pollinator seeds and organic seeds. So we can do some seed saving. If it's the first year, I recommend bigger seeds like sunflowers because it's something you can do with kids or with whole family and it's really easy. We're going to have a seed saving class in May. We're going to learn a lot of more details. Beans is a good option, marigolds and pasucho that we have here. We have saved in the past tomatoes, cucumbers, and other seeds and other beers. Then you have to do a list when you're planning to garden your garden. The food that you like to eat and the food that you wish to grow. So this is do you want potatoes, you want onions, you like tomatoes, you also wish to grow this. For example, I like to grow peppers because peppers are really expensive in the store. And they're more tasty when you grow your own food. Also, you can grow food anywhere. You can have small buckets in the kitchen with basil, with herbs. You might just have a bigger bucket outside by your door, a raised bed, or you might have a bigger plot or larger raised bed. There's different ways that we have here. We also in this photo we have a raised bed that has a chair access. So there is some options. Sometimes can get hard, especially when you do some weeding. So and it's also better for some salad stuff ingredients that you grow like radish, lettuce, spinach. Here also in this picture we have some rows from the farm in 2019. medicines like here at the garden we have a medicine garden too. There we have sage, and sweetgrass, strawberries, nishan, and acema. And like I mentioned, we have to think of the pollinators, the butterflies, the bees, especially the native bees, because they're the ones that do a lot of the work and more work than the honeybees. I like honeybees, but native bees are really amazing, and it's a lot to learn. I hope we can have it in the future classes more resources on native bees, but it's a lot to learn. They're really amazing. And we also have some birds, hummingbirds, some of the squirrels. We have a lot of help at the garden, but this is the food that they like to see in their garden. We have some annuals or perennials. There's food, there's pollinator, and it looks good in your garden. We have, this is some of the perennials, strawberries, chives. Chives are really good because you can have it in this early spring, and you can just leave it for flowers. It looks good in your garden with everything else. It's small. And then also later you can do some seed saving later in the season. Some onions, these ones are really easy, but they can take over your garden also. Blueberries, that would be need a different soil, but it's good fruit to have. I believe we're gonna have a class of blueberries and mangoes. And consider the planting distance also. Like the photos in the top, you can see in that side the corn and the squash, but you can see like how squash will take over your garden. So if you have like a 20 by 30 or very small garden, you might only need 1 or 2 squashes because definitely will take over your other little plants. Some cabbage, cauliflower here in the left. It needs probably 3 by 3 space. In the photo in the bottom, this corner is too far away, but here is too close. And here is just kind of examples if you do it in rows, but at home, if you have a small space, you have to consider that what plants you put next to which one you put next to the other one. In companion, it's a lot of information about companion. There's a lot of different information, what's go good with what, but I will give you some recommendations. It's like, depending what you're growing, maybe it's a companion recommendation and that you find somewhere, but maybe it's a plant that you don't even have, or it's ideal when you have a big garden, then maybe you just have a container or you just have very small raised bed. So it will go depending what plants you're growing, but definitely the squash need bigger space, one thing for sure. And then consider like the root vegetables too, all together on the other side, all the salad on the other side, your corn, sunflowers, they're gonna be really big. Just thinking in that little details. Here, this companion that I have here is like Milpa. So they're all together, corn, beans, squash, amaranth, acema, with all the native plants together in this plot. And then I don't till this plot. I have tilled this plot, I think, twice because the soil was very hard. But then we not did any tilling last year or the year before. And also think of the watering or hose. If you have a container or raised bed, it will be really easy. But if you have like 10 by 20, you will need a hose to water. There's plants that like a lot of water. There is deep irrigation watering, and it's what we have at the farm. Yes. Yeah, respect. Yeah, but here, so mulching really helps to keep moisture and weeds down, but it's hard to get it. So we've been using in the last year's rice chaff. And then this is drip hose, and the other one is soaker hose. This is really nice, but it's a lot of work to put it on and a lot of work to take it out. If you have a garden that you will leave the hose there during the winter, and it would be always that way, it's really nice. But if you have to move the stuff around, it's a lot of work. And I use the soaker hose because you can pull it and it's easy and it's light and it's easy just to install it too for the plants. Another thing very important to consider is the soil. At the farm, one plot, we've been trying to have cover crops, plants that feed and protect the soil. I just use this photo because 2 years ago, we did the rain simulator at the farm, and then we use like with grass, how much affects soil, and we're gonna have a class about soil in May too, that we're gonna learn more. This is the masana that we use at the farm and some of the gardens that really helps to keep the weeds down and keep the moisture. And it's good. In this year, actually, the Fond du Lac students, Fond du Lac Tribal Community College students, and some of the producers at the farm will be doing a research to learn more about the soil impact, because maybe after many years can be some soil impact that might be good or not good. Also thinking composting, if you can start a small compost at home from leftover, veggies, stuff from the kitchen, or the weeds that you get from your garden. This is some of the things that we're gonna need for seed starting, like soil, containers, labels, seeds, and many of the seeds in the package, you can see that they have the instructions or the information or recommendation. Here we have seed savers, and tonight we're gonna use seed savers and high mowing seeds. They're all organic and open pollinator. Another option, so tonight we're doing seed starting, but you can also do direct planting. For example, in this picture, we have peas. Just plant the peas in April, and they were good by the end of May. There's another direct planting like the borage or nasturtium. Some can be like that, like sunflowers, like direct planting in June, corn, squash, and also some flowers don't like to be seed starting. So there's some plants that like more like in June. This is seed starting sachet with 72 cells. This one help with onions, kale, broccoli, cabbage, or for the small seeds, very tiny seeds, like when you start your own strawberry plants or acema. There is bigger ones with 18. That's kind of
for tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers. Some of you have a mini greenhouse, or you can do your mini greenhouse if you just get a shelf and you just have a grow light, or yeah, you need a grow light. You can have your mini greenhouse for few things that you can start here in Minnesota indoors in May or in April, or if you have your bigger hoop house or high tunnel or greenhouse, you can start a lot of more things. Also, the other foods, there's no weeds, they're foods. Like purslane, this is a really delicious, and then it's cold wheat, but it's very healthy food, very delicious. Mexico wheat that a lot cook or raw, but in the garden it tastes good, just raw, just like that from the garden. You just don't want to get it when it's getting kind of old. So purslane, also in the photo there is mullein, some medicines and that people use for different purpose. Also, there is some things that we plant in October, like garlic. We usually plant garlic in October and harvest in August. But last year, the garlic was ready to be harvested the last week of July. And another option would be like a cold frame. More foods. So if you grow organic corn and it's a lot of rain that we usually have here in Minnesota, it's a small possibility that you might get with la coche. So this is in the corn, but with la coche it's good. You can try it raw and you can cook, or you can make soups, quesadillas. With la coche is a delicacy in Mexico, and it's food. And if you see online and try to get like with la coche in a jar, it's really expensive. So if you ever get that, you can always sell with la coche. It's a good thing. We also have other foods like amaranth, is a grain, and then also you can eat like a green when it's very young, and when it gets older, then you eat the seeds. We have all different types of corn. Here we have like Oaxaca green corn. It has grown at the farm 2 years ago. It's all different, and then a lot of parts of the corn, like the corn silk, or all the parts that you can use from the corn. And also we have the baskets with squash blossoms. So you can eat the blossoms of the squash or pumpkin, preferably the male. And then the best time to harvest is in the morning, or late in the season, let's say in September, and we have a lot of blossoms, but we already harvest a lot of squash, and then we hear like, oh, next week we're having a frost, and so you can just harvest all the blossoms because they're not gonna produce a squash anyways, and you can cook the blossoms and make quesadilla soup. This is the soil blocks. We've been doing this for 4 years now, and I like it. We tried first in a few plants, and later the next year another plants and more plants, and now we try with every single seed, the small seeds and bigger seeds, and it works really well. It's a really good way to not use a lot of plastic. It's a little bit hard, but it's really easy when you transplant it because it just takes you plant. And you can see here in the photo, like that one is a cucumber, and then and the left is a cucumber, and the right is, the left is kale, the other one is cucumber. So, and then we also have a squash, and it works well with the squash with the size of soil block we're gonna do tonight. There is different sizes, and you can have the option with the soil blocks to do transplanting, but you also want to save time and not spend a lot of time transplanting and transplanting. We're not gonna plant everything from here. We're gonna do peppers tonight, kale, broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, hot peppers, sweet peppers, and then we have the option for basil and for onions. Because we still, this is March 28th, 2 more months of cold weather, and if you plant, if we're doing like squash or cucumber, your plant would be gigantic in April, and we can put our plants outside in April. So we also gonna need the seeds. They need long time to be ready. So this is kind of one example of planting your garden. This is just 10 by 20, like all the space that you need. This is like with photo, and this is just with the squares. Like you need like maybe 10 feet for only a few sunflowers, but then you need like a very small space for your arugula, radish, or lettuce. Tomatoes, you need a space. Also, your corn and your squash, you can do it together next to the sunflower, but you don't want it close of your peppers or the small plants. This is one map that we did like 2 years ago. It's a different way to see the garden. It's the same design, it's just different graphic design. And then, so today we're gonna do, kale. And we have one table here with different trays and different things that we can use to do seed starting. But we will try to do soil blocks. But if you feel like it's really hard, we have the options here. If you want to do like herbs, we have this small one, or we have this bigger option for onions. We also have this option too. I think I went really fast.
It's 6 o'clock, 6:03.
Okay, so that's good. I just want to make sure I'm not forget anything. And yeah, I think now I can take any questions before we do our hands-on activity and practice seed starting today. Yes. So open pollinators that can, I don't know how to explain it more easy. They can be that produce. I think I have a sheet that I can show you. We need like open pollinator seeds so we can ensure to do seed saving, because there is seeds that are hybrid. And I mean, you can do seed saving, but you're not sure what you're gonna get, or if you're gonna get something. So it will be okay for them to reproduce, to have good seeds. Yeah, and then we're also gonna have, in our seed saving, we're gonna have more details about the open pollinator. But we have some seed catalogs in the table. These two companies, I think most of the seeds are open pollinator. Some do hybrid, but it's more for carrots and onions. But also that are organic seeds. So we always want the open pollinator and organic, especially if we're doing seed saving. And it's good to do seed saving so we can continue doing seed starting. And we don't have to get the plants from the store. We don't really know much about the seeds, soil, and everything else in there. And then, yeah, yeah. Depending the design you want to do, but if you have perennials, you might want to put perennials in one side and your annuals on the other side. A lot of your perennials can be pollinators, so it's good to have closer to your plants like a squash or cucumber, some of the plants that you want to attract the pollinators for the plants. More questions?
Do you want to address like half the sun? You know, it's like, have you ever made the mistake of planting things on the wrong side of the sun? You know, when you didn't get the production that you thought you would get, you why you mapped out that way? Didn't really take it worked out.
Oh, okay, yes, this one,
That one.
yeah, this one is
Okay, I thought.
north. So you have some flowers because you're gonna get the sun. And then, you know, one like you sunflowers or your corn is covering your peppers. You want your peppers more in the south. And then you really have to have really big open area for your garden. Because we have had bad experience that we only get a little bit sun in the day with the peppers. So they don't really grow much. And one thing the peppers like is a lot of sun. So you kind of want very open. But there is other plants that would be okay with not much sun, like broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower. More questions? Oh, yes. Sorry, I'm laughing because I'm thinking in weeds. We do a lot of weeds for cover crops by accident. For example, in the garden, I don't have room for cover crops, but at the farm, there is 1 acre that we've been trying to get better soil there. So we combine 3 different cover crops. And the farm, we have a farm mentor. So we have clover, barley, and oats. So each one is for nitrogen, and other ones for like organic matter. This year we really wanted to do more clover because clover grows smaller and it helps with nitrogen, and it would be kind of okay for the different plants that everybody grow at the farm. And it's one of the recommendations of our farm mentor. Our farm mentor is John Fisher married with a food farm, and he does the clover in between the tomatoes and also another plants. And you can just mow and then just leave it there. Yes. I really like the rice hulls. I've been using it for at least 4 years. It's good with moisture and keeping the weeds down, but we're going to learn if there's any impact in the soil that possibly not be good, because over time mulch is not really good. Any kind of mulch, and then continue doing it. To be something running into the soil. but I do like it because it takes me time. And I like to be kind of do more practical and the easy way, because our season is very short, but also can be hot, dry days outside. Yeah.
One quick question from online. Any tips for gardeners new to the northern Minnesota climate?
Yes. So keep in mind that the season is gonna be just 3 months, and check for frost days. Yeah, that too first. And to see the starting with some of the plants. And kind of more about the weather, because our season is really short. But at the garden, we have grown everything. We have grown in the past eggplant and okra and everything else that you see in the forest. Everything, all the veggies we have grown and analyzed. Yeah. At the farm, we not do cover crops where we have the plants. We have another acre just to have the cover crops. And the idea is to start doing rotation, because by October, it's still food in the plots, and then still squash, it's still a lot of plants. So it's no time that we can plant the cover crops. And if we plant it, it will be very late because there's not enough sun and it's cold. So but we leave all the plants there, everything there. But
And then if you spoil it all summer, instead of being.
no, it has to be later, around July. And especially if you're planting like carrots, you have to wait for your carrots to come out, or other plants. If you're doing from seed, you will do you cover crop later. I believe John, he does one cover crop in July, and I don't know if he does in later one more time, but kind of so you see your plants so they don't get mixed with it. We haven't done at the farm exactly like that. We gonna do it this year. We just have the cover crops in a different plot that we know grow food.
Every time we go to parking lot. Yeah, wind up going out buying our needs.
Well, what is the best way to harden this transition from inside to outside?
It needs at least 1 week to do all the transition. So one day, 1 hour, the next day like 2 hours, and then yes. So that is a lot of work. Yes, but at least I need like 1 week, and that's for tomatoes and cucumbers because they're really picky with the fast transition. Yes, yeah, it works. So when you have indoor, you plant with a grow light. You can also have kind of when your plant get bigger, the fan, like Christina mentioned. So your plant kind of get used to kind of simulate whatever it will be outside. Yes, but it's a lot of work. The last years I just been doing like onions, peppers, and kale, cabbage, cauliflower. And a couple times I just took it outside twice and I just transplanted because there was no more time. And they survived. But the ones that are gonna be like, they're not gonna like it is tomatoes and cucumbers. So what you can do now, let's say in March, we do onions, kale, cauliflower, broccoli, cabbage. In April, we do, and peppers. In April, we do like herbs. In May, in the first week, we do other plants. And the last week of May, we do like cucumbers, squash. So you don't have a lot of plants or really big plants before you need transplant outside. And then some plants don't really show big difference when you just do it directly on the ground, like sometimes like corn or squash, because we've been doing a lot of direct seeding from the squash and corn, and sometimes kind of we do it because we want the plant to be kind of ready because our season is short, but sometimes it make big difference.
It's probably transition here. It's 6:17.
Okay,
So
we have to do the seed starting, and we can talk more when we do the seed starting. I'll be here helping. Thank you for being here. And I do believe, even if I don't believe in the green thumb stuff. I think we can all learn from each other, and we can all learn to do seed starting.